This is the story of three vibrant youths. They came together and formed the group, Plantashun Boys. In the 90s, there were a lot of difficulties in making the hip-hop tune accepted by the general public. For Innocent Uja Idibia, born in Jos, Plateau State, from the town Idoma in Benue State, Nigeria, popularly known as a contemporary R&B, hip-hop, reggae, Afrobeat singer and songwriter, not ruling out his love for acting and record producing. His years of being active is 20 years.
Yes, so they call me Innocent Idibia, aka Tuface, aka Tubaba.
In 1996, Innocent Uja Idibia began to call himself Tuface. Tuface attended the Institute of Management and Technology, IMT Enugu, which he attended with Blackface.
When IMT Enugu, me and Blackface were in the same school then, IMT Enugu. And I mean, we're from the same place and we live in the same town. So we went to the same secondary school, so we've been friends for quite some years, for some time. So in IMT Enugu, me and Blackface decided to team up. And, we had, in school then we used to perform separately, but sometimes we go on stage together, but it was under individual names, But we were like, okay, you know what? Let's start this music thing. Let's form a group.
The both came together and formed the group, Plantashun Boys. For Hamedu Augustine Obiabo, born in Ogule, Agato local government area of Benue State, Nigeria. Genres are dancehall, raga, reggae, hip-hop. Blackface is also known as a singer, songwriter, and record producer. His years of being active is 17 years.
Yo, what up Nigerians, what up people? It's Blackface Naija. I'm Amedu Augustine, and you all know me as Blackface Naija, and I'm from Benue State. I'm a melody maker, I'm entrepreneur, everything that has to do with music, and that's what I'm definitely all about.
Blackface was a founding member of the Nigerian band, Plantashun Boys.
We were thinking of what to do with the music because we're in Benue State and in Tuface. And a lot of cats got skills there in my town, and we were like, what are we going to do? We're listening to people in Lagos and trying to say, okay, what are we going to do to, let people know what we got? And so we started talking about it and how to move the music to the other side of the country, which is Lagos, because if you're in Benue, Lagos is definitely the other side.
For Chibuzo Oji, better known by his stage name, Faze, from Delta State, Nigeria. Genres are R&B, pop, reggae, Nigerian hip-hop, also known as a singer, songwriter, record producer, and actor. His years of being active is 19 years.
Hey, my people, they call me Faze, and I'm from Delta State in the Kwa West.
In the year 1998, Blackface and Tuface met. Faze did the appropriate meetings, took Faze to a karaoke competition, and decided Faze should join the team.
Plantashun Boys were actually made of Blackface and Tuface. I was a rapper. I wasn't actually singing, so I watched them on TV, some program on TV, and I said, look, I wanted to be in a group, and I heard them do something together.
Ray Power. That was a song that we did, a jingle for Ray Power at that time, and Faze was like, man, I like the way you guys sing and the way you guys harmonize, and we became friends, and gradually, that was about in 1998, 1999, and then I talked to my friend and said, I think it would be cool for us to have a third partner because there was some other kind of skills that Faze was bringing to the table, and I really liked it.
like those days we were trying to bring ourselves up. I put up my CD up and gave it to him to listen to it. Told him it was somebody else. I was like, this is somebody else that did this song, not actually me. And to see criticism from him. Then he was like, this guy sounds so much like his partner, Tuface. I'm like, oh, good. Then I said he's a friend of mine. Then later on, he played it for Tuface, and Tuface listened to it. I said, this guy sounds good and all that. Then I had to let them know it was me. They were shocked. So I did my own freestyle thing, and it came out nice and everything. And that's how we made up. And then I think they were bearing Blackface was actually bearing Blackface, Tuface was bearing Tuface. I was bearing Lyrical Urge because I was a rapper then. And then we said, look, they said let's form a team together and let's see how it works. But we couldn't blend with Blackface, Tuface, and Lyrical Urge. I said let's look for him. And then I got up in him. I said Faze.
Yeah. Word. Plantation. That's PB. Lay it on them.
Long time ago, I can't remember when it was, but I remember meeting them up. It was great. I mean, they were just three fantastic guys, and they just used to. You could see the joy in their faces when they sang. You know, the melodies they came up with, the harmony was amazing. And to me, back then even, the star wasn't Tuface. It was Faze. Because Faze was the one I used to steal the show anytime because he would take off, they'll be singing, then Faze would now take off on a different pitch and hit those high notes. So he was the one that stood out. He was one that the girls used to scream at.
Plantation Boys originally would be made up of two people that used to go by the name Bad Manners. That's how I met them. I met them in Jos. They used to beat their chest like two guys. Apparently, I suggested to them at that time that they should come to Lagos because I think they had immense talent. And at that time, maybe I was blinded and I thought coming to Lagos is. So I encouraged them to come to Lagos, and they came to Lagos, and they used to come to my studio like every second. Plus, they were playing basketball for the Down Warriors. It was Blackface and Tuface. So they used to come around my studio in Obarinde a lot. I had their demo tapes that I was shopping around, hoping that some of my Ajebo friends that their parents had money in Ikoyi and all that environment would want to, buy into that. Same thing we did for Junior and Pretty at the time, So that's how I met Plantation Boys. And eventually, I think one day at a karaoke in VI, they met one other awesome vocalist who turns out to be Faze. And then they added him to the group, so they became three.
I taken Faze to a karaoke competition, and when we got there, he proved beyond any kind of doubt that he was just that third member that P-Boys needed, because everything he did was just with he was even singing, and they were like, no, this guy cannot be singing live. That they thought it was one of the Backstreet Boys singing, and that's how good Faze is.
Plantation Boys came to me in the 90s, early 90s, at the beginning of Ripper FM, through Tony Tetwila. They will come around, they will play. That time they didn't have a record label. At that time they were working with Nelson Brown was the producer. They will play, they will hang around, and later through Tony, through the song Amadime Tanshiri and My Time album, which happens to be record number 3 on Kenny's music catalog. I was able to meet them from there. Okay, we're working on our own album too. You know how you meet some, undergraduates in the industry, upcoming artists. They're working with one artist that is known, that is being pushed forward, that's being presented in the forefront. Then you now have some people with you say, "Oh, we are working." I said, "Great, that would be nice. That whenever you guys are ready, let me know. You guys are ready with Tony, so it won't be a big deal."
I first of all met Tuface and Blackface. We actually started their project before they introduced Faze to the whole game. And they gave me a good reason. They said it would be nice they are three so that the harmony can be tight when they are singing on stage. And it was not smooth initially because Tuface was not really down to that, because him and Blackface, they've been together for a very long time. Somebody new just coming into it. But at the end of the day, everything went out smoothly, and we started working on their project.
Oh boy, I say I broke the group.
Kenny's music was interested in Tuface.
I can never break any band.
As a group, they were not making enough money.
I've given Plantation Boys contract before, exclusives.
There was this cracker between Blackface and Idris.
In the long run, some stuff had to happen.
But he was even also plotting his own solo album.
They never intend to split.
He was blackface. And on any day, that can break a band.
The band Plantation Boys released 2 successful albums, Body and Soul, in the year 2000 and Sold Out in 2003. The band broke up in 2004 under the Nelson Brown label, Dove Records.
There were so many factors that led to them splitting. You know, one was the fact that as a group, they were not making enough money. In fact, that was one of the major reasons. They never intend to split. They wanted to go individually. They want to go solo individually and still retain the name Plantashun Boys. That means going solo, do their individual job, come back and release an album as a group.
You know, everybody knows the story, like how the breakup came up and who went solo first of all, and all that, you know. But you know, it was a time for P-Boys that we were actually thinking of something different. We were thinking of going international, and we were also talking with people like Olisa Debua and the rest of them to start off something new. I think it was because of P-Boys that the Storms Records was formed at that time, because they wanted a label to use to push the P-Boys and they wanted us to go international, and we were very ready. But in the long run, some stuff had to happen because some person had some commitments aside from the group that we didn't know all about.
Relations were marred for many years, during which the band broke up and started their solo careers. It was rumored Tuface broke the band, with the help, of course, of Kenny's music founder and owner, Kenny Ogungbe.
Oh boy, I said I broke the group. Wow, man.
Tuface.
I'll be honest with you, I've given Plantation Boys front track before, exclusives, that because they were close to Tony, and Tony said we can do it without even knowing that Nelson Brown was there.
Actually, he wanted the Plantashun Boys, you understand? But, you know, there was this cracker between Blackface and Idris.
Tony Tequila was part of Remedies. Tony left Remedies. He pitched his camp with Plantation. It was said that Modebe Tanshere, after pitching his tent with Plantation Boys, inside the Modebe Tanshere, they dissed Idris. Precisely, not Tuface, precisely and falsely Blackface.
You know, Blackie never wanted at all to have anything to do with Tuface. Blackie feels, okay, because as at that period, it was Kenny's music and Dove Entertainment.
Blackface dissed Idris. Idris was quiet then. I'm very sure a rapper is always a rapper. Later, inside Pass album, P-A-S-S, first solo album by Idris Abdulkarim, Idris now dissed Blackface. Not only that he dissed Blackface, he dissed the entire Plantation Boys. And if you don't remember, I will remind you. He said, Tuface, you are the Plantation. The rest of the boys are just the boys. He said, Tuface, don't let it go to your head. And Blackface and Face, if you all think I'm lying, you break up. Go do your own songs. And let's see who will be there tomorrow.
As at the time the group broke up, it was also rumored that they were all having singles outside the group.
Blackface did some solo songs on his own back then, you know. But he didn't do the full solo album. But he was even also plotting his own solo album as well, you know.
Then after that, Blackface released a single The single also dissed Idris. And if anybody is going to quote and unquote, who out of Blackface, Faze, and Tuface to release a single, it was Blackface. And on any day, that can break a band. So now coming to say, oh, Kenny Ogungbe broke the band, it was never so. Then after that, after you come with so many cracks, then Tuface came to me. I never look for Tuface to say, let me sign you. You can ask him.
So everybody knew that they were going to do some solo stuff. So but that 2004 was like, for me, it was like, okay, look, I have to do this now. I have to, you know. But unfortunately, somehow, when I decided to do that, everybody else decided to, you know, go for it as well. So somehow we now put Plantation Boys on hold. You know, so it has been on hold till now.
When the rumor of Tuface going to Kenny's Music was now becoming strong, because I had 3 years contract and 2 albums. From 2000, October 1st, 2000 to September 31st, 2003. But the only thing that binds them was the fact that in between that 3 years, they are going to do 2 albums. That was why they did the second album with me.
Blackface never showed up. Face never showed up. Innocent showed up. Say, okay, I'm ready to go now. Say, really? Okay, let's go. I will encourage any man. You are talented, you are serious, you are humble, you are respectful. And again, you understand what you're doing. I will be with you. Then from there, this first single came out. If Nebara came out. Nobody was saying anything. Then African Queen came out. The whole thing blew into pieces. Then the album came out 2004, Face to Face. Everybody, it was after that when the album has been successful. You got to understand that. If it wasn't successful, nobody would say, oh, Kenny Ogungbe broke the band. But they will talk about me. They will forever talk about me. I love when people talk about me. I'm not talking, that's my job. That means Kenny Ogungbe is still relevant, either broadcasting or media or music. So if they see all that, great.
The truth is, we had our misunderstandings then. Well, we were Plantation Boys now, but Plantation Men. So we learned a lot of things too that I think it was only for the betterment of all of us to prove our individual talents, you know. Though it wasn't, we were saying it wasn't the right timing for him to do his own thing, but you know, like I say, God has his own ways of doing things, and he actually made us do our things so individual and came out nice. So yeah, it was a rumor that he left the group and all that stuff. Stories were going on, but man, he's a man. He wanted to do his thing, and then I think it was like a stepping stone for us to do our own thing too. He did it, and then he gave us that call and said, look, he has done it, we can do it, and we did our own thing. You know, that's the truth about it, yes.
I wasn't part of the Plantation Boys, team, but what I heard was that they were talking collectively to other record labels about going together. They were. First of all, I think it was Nelson Brown, someone like that. They were thinking of leaving the original company, the original producers, original company they had been part of. So now they were discussing other platforms as a group, but not knowing that probably maybe Tuface had other plans, or Tuface was looking at going solo. So obviously, the effect really wasn't felt until Tuface went solo, because obviously Tuface's career took off, and as far as I'm concerned, became the biggest artist, and probably is still one of the biggest artists in the country. As far as I'm concerned, Tuface probably is the biggest artist in Nigeria. If you put alongside Femi Kuti and Asha, he's definitely well respected. So the impact was more from the impact that Tuface made as a solo artist. The other Plantation Boys, I think maybe they never really recovered themselves enough. Faze has had some good tracks, Blackface has done his bit, but they never really recovered to take it to another level. I think left to me, I would have said the other two should have just carried on by themselves, and gone ahead.
After Tuface went solo, I talked with Faze and said, how are we going to do this P-Boys project? Are we going to do it as a duo? Are we going to get a third member? Or if we're going to do it as a duo, what kind of sound are we going to do and how are we going to represent PB? Because PB is a niche of his own, so we have to be in that level. We can't be bringing some kind of music that is not Plantation Boys music into a Plantation Boys franchise. You know, so I was very skeptical about it and I wanted to know what his take was. But he was like, he wanted to do something different. And that was the reason why me and Faze did not stay as P-Boys after Tuface left.
The split, was more of essay. People telling me this guy is about to go solo, that one wants to, there were internal little that we got to know about and everybody was trying to mend it, like, let's see, this shouldn't happen at this time, no. But it's gotten to that point where I think everybody's, they were all grown men and, whatever decision they wanted to take at the time, you can only suggest and advise, but I think they went ahead and did what they had to do.
Following this event, it was established to the general public the plantation had fallen. After Plantation Boys split up in 2004, Blackface led a solo music career.
After the breakup, I had to search within myself and say, what am I going to do? Am I going to try to sing the normal Plantation Boys kind of flavor, or am I going to do some for my people? And so I thought about it. It took me about 4 to 5 months to decide what kind of direction I want to go.
He released the hip-hop album, Ghetto Child, collaborating with a number of artists. The album contained Hard Life, featuring Alibi.
And I said, I want to talk about my people, and I want to say some stuff that will affect my people positively. So I started talking about my people, and my first single was Hard Life. Because it was hard life, we were living in Nigeria, it was crazy living, we wanted a better living. We still crave for it up till today. And that's the reason why anytime that song comes on, it's still relevant, because it's still speaking the minds of the people till this very day.
After the disbandment of Plantation Boys in 2004, Tuface released his debut solo album, Face to Face, under Kenny's music, which established him as a viable solo artist. Following his debut album, he released his second album, Grass to Grace. Released a promotion album in 2008 called The Unstoppable. Upon leaving the music label Kenny's Music, he set up his own record label known as Hypertech Entertainment.
Jay Slicker Slicky, would you? If those say not just me.
that was so new to me.
Always wanted them to do something together again.
We had some people that wanted us to do a PB album.
I'm happy because that plantation feel will come back again.
We're holed up in the hotel for close to a month recording the album.
I found out that they were in the studio working. I was not invited.
It was funny, it was nice.
But I saw it dead on arrival.
The project was not promoted very well. That was what led to it not being successful.
The band Plantation Boys united in 2007 just for one more album, titled Plan B. Relations were marred for many years, during which the band came back together in 2007 for the purpose of recording a third and final album.
Me and Wally, my partner now, we've been always wanted them to do something together again. Even they themselves also wanted to do something together. So we got a call from Tijo, and he spoke to us, and we're like, man, he was interested in doing something with them and all that. So we're like, okay, nice one. We spoke to the boys were interested, and then we put everything together.
We started talking about, we had some people that wanted us to do a PB album. And then we traveled from Nigeria, we were in Senegal, so we're in Senegal and we're talking about it, and I was like, okay, it would be cool if we can do that.
Number one, Plantation Boys had left each other, and I think we had different flavors now. We weren't having the same flavor. It was a different idea behind it, because I think when we actually came together, we had Blackface doing a bit of his raga thing. I had my R&B thing. Tuface had his little touch of R&B and raga too, and together. So I think it was awesome. I heard the news was good because it was an opportunity for us to express ourselves individually, what we sounded like where we live. When we left the group rather together individually and marched together, and I was happy because that plantation feel will come back again, because it's always good to hear Tuface coming in with his own voice, vocal, and Blackface comes in again, and then I come in, so it's a different flavor entirely. So it was awesome for me. I liked it.
It was wonderful, man. We're holed up in the hotel for close to a month recording the album. Nobody going from hotel to the studio and back. It was mad.
How can you satisfy three great men that they've already tasted the fame, they've tasted the money, to now come and do a project that three of them will now share the money? It's hard. Unless if themselves, talk about three of them, if they showed up and they say, you know what, we want to do it, then let's go look for a platform. Let's go look for a backbone. Not for money making, but for legacy.
Yeah, I heard of the Plan B album from a friend, which is also their friend. And the marketer involved was advised that, okay, if he's going to get the best out from this boy, they should work directly with me. There was a plan on ground to work with me. But along the line, I found out that they were in the studio working. I was not invited. I didn't bother. But I always knew that they are great talent, and whatever they do, whether with me or with anybody, is going to come out very, very good, because they're very, very good songwriters, especially Blackface.
During the project, we had our ups and downs about the project, from sponsors problem to recording problems to showcasing problem to the rest of the other things that come around the group that really have not made up their mind on what they really want to do.
Then again, you go back again, you think, you want to do an album, You have three great men. You have them lodged in hotel. You want them to be producing. You have them lodged in hotel for almost 30 days. The money for that hotel is enough to do videos. If you now put the money together, somebody is going to pay for that. And whoever is paying for it is going to have to get his money back. So whatever amount they've given to three of them, that rate is what Tuface used to earn by himself. Even today, they say they want to do it. Innocently or not innocently, innocent must agree because the money they will pay, they have to share. So that was where I said, these people, if only if they know what they're doing and if it can be managed well, it can fly. But I saw it dead on arrival. When I saw it, they were now finding out that they were living in hotel, spending more money on consumables compared to spending more money on creativity. To me, it was also wrong.
Well, it was funny, it was nice, it was funny because we've experienced, we've grown, but we're still going to do a whole lot of stuff. We're just trying to beat our time now and strategize on the best way to go about it. But we're definitely going to do some stuff.
So they came back and tried to pull an album. I remember about the same time I was dropping the Definition album was when, the same marketer was about to drop a comeback album for Plantation Boys, and I was excited, okay, finally at least, but pretty much I guess it was like things fall apart. The center could no longer hold, and they were all ripe enough to do their thing independently. So
I heard of it, but I was not calling to it. Well, I didn't feel bad. I just wish them good luck, but it was so unfortunate that the project didn't come out as expected. And maybe I won't put it as a production failure. Maybe the marketer and the boys themselves, they had some misunderstanding. The project was not promoted very well. That was what led to it not being successful.
So the whole team can actually sit back, smile, and remember the old places they all used to visit, and also share what they miss about the band Plantation Boys.
The one place where they go sit down, go there, go chill, go chop pomo and indomie. Go on to they sell for small bottle dogoyaro. And then we go buy one small pelebe, they call it pelebe. We'll buy like 20 naira worth of it, you know. It will do you more justice than the 2 bottles of Hennessy.
Memorable places in Festa. One of them has to be 201 Road. You know, that's where, you know, we used to like rent a boat. It was out in the street, yeah, but we were having fun regardless.
Place called like waterside. You go like there's a place in Festa called Aquateria. We used to live across, so the only way out was if it rained, the road is always flooded. So the only way out was you go to Aquateria, you take a canoe, boat, and cross the water to the house. So when you cross that water, there's a joint, like they use like plank, built with planks and all that. So they sell all these kind of local drinks. There's okbenyi, there's jedi, there's tasty, you know, the different flavors, you know.
One thing I miss about Plantation Boys would be the fact that they have 3 different skills. And when you put 3 different skills together, you know that you definitely have something out of this world.
Also, back in the days, we had the police would see you singing and they bust up the place and arrest everybody. Probably tie Faze to Wale, tie to Nazi, tie Tuface to Blackface, and take everybody to the station. You know, because we're just on the streets, just hanging out and doing music. But the same station now, you go there and they say, hey, Chairman, Tubaba, they're loyal and everything, you know.
So those years, now they carry them Tuface cross, Abi?
Ask Tuface and Boiz by
Okay. I beg last time they owe money to cross or they pay their money?
At times they owe me credit. I look at one of my friends.
Pay your friends.
Go to Dogu, we find your Dogu and blackface. KK, all of them. Plantation Boys, even Chubuzo.
No, I don't do that.
Even Chubuzo said, I mean they cross them. They are fans, they are girlfriends.
In fact, I write songs. Man, you know, so we've written a couple of songs together, like some people be acting like they know it all. We wrote it together. We actually wrote it in that joint with a bottle of Pami and Dogoyaro. You know, and in less than 45 minutes, the song was done. Sincerely.
So those days, Tuface will chop on credit. You keep on credit, make you know what they come back on pay.
Not like that credit. You know, Tuface my person. If you come, we eat together and all those kind of things. You come at the time, we do together. You understand?
All right. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
I miss everybody. We're like a family. If we go for shows, we're like 50. I'm telling you, man, you don't even want to try us. We'll come for shows, you don't even want to try us, man. We're like 50, you know. Benny, my goodness. Tuface's present driver, he's been there from the beginning. Benny, we used to carry us for credit too. We'll go for shows. If they don't pay, we'll balance him later. It was bad, man. Benny guy, you know. Mad fun back then, yeah. You know? But we give God the glory.